Start that record. Oh, I need to get this posted too. Okay. Alright. So, first thing I suppose is to look at team comps here. And, well, I mean, this is low ELO. So I'm not expecting to see anything amazing from these team comps. And to be honest, I don't right now. This is a thing of, this is low ELO. Low ELO doesn't really know what they're doing with team comps. They have a really hard time here. And I mean, pretty much what they end up doing is you'll see, like, people just pick stuff where they're like, Mundo. Mundo's current, like, really strong champion. All the pros are calling him strong. I'm going to pick him. Or, like, Ezreal, same kind of thing. Like, you just see, like, they pick the champions that are good and they play them. And that's not necessarily bad, but I mean, if you really want to pick according to your team, you should probably have a game plan, like, you should have a game plan thought out for when you hit team fights. And right now, I don't really see that from either team. Like, there's no real game plan here. Like, Ezreal's a poke champion, Swain's an aggressive, like, tanky champion, so is Mundo. Like, I feel like a better pick for AD would have been Vayne here, or just somebody... Ezreal's just more pokey. He's more poke and kite than he is, like, an aggressive in-the-fight AD carry. Caitlyn would have been good there. Ashe could have actually been good, but I don't know who picked first, so... Can't tell you there, but... Anyway, I just don't really see any cohesion from these teams. You have things like a good initiate from Ashe, and I guess Malzahar can kind of follow that up. But, like, it's like a suppressed team, but there's separate suppresses, and it's like, I don't know. And then, like, an AoE stun ult. I don't know. These teams just don't seem like they're well thought out when it comes to team fights. But either way, we're just going to start playing right now. So pretty much, I guess lanes are going to be Soraka Ezreal, which is a pretty strong lane. Soraka can just feed Ezreal mana. Ezreal's going to be able to poke all he wants. Sona Ashe, not a great lane. So expect to see Ezreal Soraka win. Sona Ashe is an interesting lane. Before 6, they're not that good. Once Sona gets her ult, because this is the main thing of Sona. Sona's ult is really, really, really powerful, and I don't think anybody would deny that. It's a, what is it? 150 damage on a hard CC in a giant AoE. At level 6, that's super strong. If you could stun both people in the lane with that, it sucks to get hit by, especially if you have 3 ranks in Hymn of Valor already, so you're giving, what, like, at least 10 to 15 AD to your AD carry, and you're stunning them for 2 seconds. And then Ashe has her arrow, so like they can both initiate that way. These guys don't have a spell shield. If Ashe arrow hits, Sona can just move forward and initiate too. So level 6, that lane can be powerful if they play it right. But in general, through the lane phase, Soraka Ezreal should be able to win, because Ezreal should just have infinite poke, and he should be able to keep Ashe low enough that they don't want to initiate. What? That was incredibly weird. It's possibly one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. Oh, this is a low ELO game I'm doing for Rauron and for Grimoire. They both asked me to do some helpful commentary of their play, let them know what kinds of things they could have done, what kinds of things go wrong in lane. So I'm trying to point out what kinds of things they can do to carry out of their bracket. That is the point of this. I didn't mention that. That is the point. Ezreal eating. Oh. See, Ezreal played that really bad. He saw Soraka moving up through the bush. If your support leaves you, don't go aggressive. That should be a #1 rule. Nobody should really fail there. I mean, that ward, it'll be useful. I'm not sure how useful it really was for Soraka to do that, to be honest, because Yeah, they're gonna see it, but are they actually gonna stop it? It's low ELO. It's a useful ward to have. That is a useful ward to have. If you can lay it and you can make sure, you can say like, oh, he's at his red. It lets you know he just got his red. He's probably gonna gank a lane now. It also lets you know he's at his red. We can go steal it. Both those situations are really good. However, this is low ELO. You probably shouldn't expect your team to be that organized. So it's not really a ward you totally need. And because she left, Ezreal did something stupid. And granted, that was Ezreal's bad play, not hers, but... And see, he pings it, but what can they do? Mundo's up here. Swain can't go there. It's just a thing of... Yeah, the ward's good. I see his logic, but this is solo queue, you have to remember that. You could have used that ward better in different places. Like right now, look at their vision. They can only see here. They don't know if Skarner's going to come through this bush. They don't know if Skarner can come up here, gank Swain or something. Plenty of things could happen here. That just, Soraka probably wanted the ward in a different spot. Granted, he has 3 wards right now, but he should be using them. Because with only vision here, stuff... Well, this isn't really Soraka's fault, to be honest. Oh, I can't believe Jax made it out of that. But with the lack of vision they have, Skarner could have been here, just, whoop, I'm here now, Ezreal. Like, they would have had to burn summoners, and you never really want to burn summoners. If you can avoid it, if at all possible, you really want to. That's a bad ward spot. Never ward there. Actually, it's not a bad ward spot in certain situations. Sona's getting a ward. That's the ward you want to place. That is a good ward. Why? Because that lets you know...
First blood.
Oh, hey, I just missed first blood from Mundo. That's my fault. I can rewind it a tiny bit. Let's see what happened there before I keep going about these wards. Actually, this doesn't look like that interesting a gank. I feel like Fiora just played this wrong. She's so far back. You see, how did that happen? Oh, Fiora blew flash on her gank, so that's good by the Mundo. That's a good idea by Mundo. He knew that Fiora blew flash. Jax probably told him. I can't see the chat, of course, so I don't know. Jax probably told him, hey, she blew her flash, come up here. So Mundo went up, got the gank. If you know that they don't have escape summoners and you're the jungler, you want to be doing that. Even if they're far back. The reason I asked how did that happen is because Fiora was back here. She should have been able to flash, but she couldn't, obviously. Because I didn't see this, largely because the spectator mode UI is completely new to me, and I need to learn it better. Anyhow, these wards, and the reason... Oh, jeez. Mal's is... Yeah, he's dead. Oh, Mundo missed the cleaver. Alright, that's kind of good by Swain. See right there, Swain just slowed that Skarner so Skarner couldn't catch up. Which is good because if you know that Skarner can't catch you, it's a bit risky because Skarner had that flash. But I mean, if you know that Skarner can't catch you, you want to help your teammates in any way possible. So throwing out that slow is a good idea. However, I want to talk about these wards, and stuff keeps happening, so I'm just going to pause it to talk about these. First, this ward is good because look at what it lets you see. Right now, they can see the Dragon Mouse, so they know if these people are if the other team's going to be going for Dragon. I just said these people. What am I talking about? They know for sure if they're going for Dragon. It also lets them see... Actually, this would have been better placed like here. But regardless, this is really close to a good ward spot. Because it sees the Dragon Mouth. Here would also see the Dragon Mouth. And it also lets you know if anybody's coming out of the Tribush. Or going into the Tribush. So it lets you know if your jungle's being counter-jungled so that you can go up and help your jungler. Right here, this ward spot, that's going to be way too late. If you're only seeing the jungler when he gets, like, here, it's not going to help you too much if you're, like, right here. having like a ward up here will let you know like by the time they get here. And that gives you so much warning, so much time to get out. A ward of this tri-bush is okay. Like that's something, because if the jungler comes this way, it's going to be really hard to get out of no matter what. However, the ideal spot for a ward for that is up here, because this lets you know if their jungler is coming around this way so that they can gank you from this direction. Though to be honest, ganking from this direction is far more dangerous on the blue side, because if they push up, this is a really easy gank spot. So it's more priority that they ward it, and that Sona hasn't warded it yet. So it's better for purple team right now, as far as wards on bottom. And it looks like this Ezreal's getting poked more than he's poking. Which is kind of sad, that's not how it should be happening. What is this armor doing? See, that Skarner just wasted time. That's a mistake that nobody really could have punished. That's a mistake. Like, I've seen junglers make that mistake where they come in, there's no possible way he could have killed Mundo there, but he stayed in and he tried to. And then he took a tower shot for it, and he's wasting time. He could have been farming his jungle the whole time. These two camps are up. He might have thought, oh, hey, I'm going to catch him at his blue, be clever about it. But if you don't have vision on that blue, or you don't know the jungle timers, which he obviously didn't, because the blue hasn't even come up yet. If you don't know those timers, and you don't know that they're there, it's still risky to go in, because you're wasting time. That's time that you could be using to gank another lane, to farm, get ahead, do a whole bunch of stuff. As far as this lane goes, this lane's kind of hard for Swain. And he's probably going to need some ganks from that Mundo. The Mundo should be paying attention to mid, because Malzahar's pushing really hard. Of course, I can't see chat, so I won't know. I won't know if he's calling for ganks or not, but Swain should probably be calling for ganks because Malzahar's pushing really far forward. And why I say it's a hard lane is because Swain's really good at staying in lane and being aggressive, but Malzahar's kind of like a... Malzahar counters that in a way. He didn't have a ward, he just guessed that he was coming and backed off, so that's good by Jax, I guess. I suppose. And that ward spot's a little weird too, you want to place it up here. You want as much warding as possible of a jungle gank from that way. And this is why it's hard for Swain, but Swain can kill him right now because Mal's played that badly. Now let's look at that fight again, largely so we can see this. What Malzahar likes to do in this lane, Swain likes being aggressive. Swain's a really aggressive champion. Like, in lane, he loves to just throw E's and Q's and just keep his mana up through last hitting. Because Swain's passive lets him do that. He can keep his mana up, and he can constantly harass you and take you to, like, half health. And once you're there, he throws both his buffs, throws his W, and turns into a bird and just runs at you. And it's going to hurt, and you're probably going to die in that case, because he can also throw his Ignite out. Malzahar kind of counters that in a way, because you never really want to be aggressive on a Malzahar, because he can always pool ult and EU, and you're, like, you lose all your damage there because you're suppressed, and he's just going to do tons of damage to you, and then, like, after it he can silence and chase you out. So... let's see, Mundo's coming around this way. And Malzahar I think made a pretty big mistake here. Because he's moving too far forward, and as I was saying, Mundo's going to need to gank this lane because Swain kind of loses it in that way. Yeah, he threw his E on that Mundo. Malzahar would have been better off waiting for Swain, throwing his E on Swain, and just E-ignite pool R. Because Mundo can't stop it, and that probably would have full comboed Swain. At the health he was at. So it's a bit risky for Swain to move forward, but once he used his E on Mundo, that was perfectly safe for Swain to do. I do have to question why Swain's buying a Blasting Wand and nothing else. It's a little questionable, that build. And he's pushing too far forward. He's going to get ganked here, probably die. If you don't have vision, you can't be doing that. Turn into a bird. No, you did that wrong. He still got the kill. But in a case like that, you know you're not getting out. He knew he wasn't getting out. He shouldn't have flashed and should have just tried to kill that Scarf. There was no hope as soon as Fiora started her ult, and he flashed right after she started. So he probably should have done is thrown his E and Q on the Skarner, turned on his R, and then just tried to kill him as fast as possible. He also wanted to use Never Move on both people, which he could have done. He just needed to wait a tiny bit more to get that Never Move. So if he had waited a tiny bit more, he could have thrown the Never Move on himself, and Fiora would have been caught too. And then she couldn't ult, and he might have gotten out that way. But because he only hit the Skarner, he was kind of doomed. Oh. Yeah, I know, the flash. I figured he wasn't going to die, but who knows? It's low ELO. Who knows what's going to happen here. I've been kind of ignoring bot because it's been such a passive farm lane. Soraka got blue from Mundo earlier. Oh, Malzahar coming down, and they don't have vision of this. And this is why this ward's not good. See how late they saw that? I really have to question, why did you use your ult? Nobody else on the map was in danger. Why did you exhaust? Why did you use your ult? There's no reason to do either of those things. That's wasting a valuable summon for a team fight. And it's also wasting your clutch save for the rest of your team. Because again, this has been a game, I've been repeating this over and over. But it's true. If you know you're doomed... Oh, I missed that again. God, I'm so bad. So bad at this. But if you know you're doomed, you probably shouldn't waste stuff. Because who knows, that next fight, you could be using it, and it could be really useful in the next fight. Now it's a case of Fiora's flash being down again. Which is good. This Mundo's taking advantage of the fact that Fiora's making mistakes and using her flash when she shouldn't. So yeah, he's going for the Catalyst now. Though if I were to recommend build, you'd go for the Catalyst first. Don't go for your Blasting Wand first. Unless you plan on playing really aggressive, there's no reason to be buying that Blasting Wand first. And from what I've seen at mid, he hasn't been playing too aggressive. And it's largely because Malzahar can kill him with his full combo. Ashe is a bit ahead of Ezreal, but so far, as far as lanes go, Swain's winning by about 20 CS in gold. because he's 20 CS behind, but he has 2 kills. Each kill's around 20 CS. Actually, they're even, because Malzahar has a kill. Never mind. They're most definitely even. I lied, my bad, sorry. Ezreal and Ashe are almost even. Ashe has a slight lead. Fiora is way behind Jax. She's half his CS. He has 1 assist on her. That lane's just dominated at this point. Swain needed to turn off his ult way earlier. I'm gonna go back and look at this fight, because I saw a few mistakes here. There's more than a few mistakes. Yeah, may as well rewind it now. Alright. 15 minutes. It was a bit before that. Oh my god. We're gonna go 13-12. Let's speed it up a bit till we get there. So right now what we see, Fiora left. She comes up here. Now, all 3 of these lanes, no Fioras in this bush. The problem here is, should switch to their vision. They don't have vision of anything right now. They don't know what's going on anywhere. They saw Fiora, so they know she's alone, isolated that way, but they don't know if anybody's here, which, that's pretty far, so they're kind of safe in doing this. However, that's first mistake, is you're not, they aren't perfectly safe in doing this. This is sort of dangerous. It's a play I would have made anyway, to go after this Fiora, because she is isolated. Even if there's people down here, it's dangerous if there's not people down here, but it's risk probably, or like the reward is more than the risk in this case. However, Swain should not be leading. Why? Is because Swain is less tanky than everybody else and is already on a bit of low health. Fiora has vision of him because there's 2 minions coming this way. And he doesn't really have the best initiate here. Mundo can cleaver. And that slow would have doomed her. However, just throwing a never move at the bush, that might happen. If she was waiting in the edge, she could Q to him. He needed to either do it from max range, to where she couldn't Q to him, or just not be the one who initiates. The rest of the team saw this. Here, there's another mistake, which is he left his bird on. He's ignited, and he left his bird on way too long. He has no mana now, and he's moving back in. If you have this low mana, you never move back into a fight, especially if you haven't turned off your bird yet. Look how low he gets. And then Skarner just grabs him. And that's just his death. It was something where he left his bird on too long and went back into a fight on really low mana. The reason they lost the fight there is because of Swain. That was Swain's mistake. Swain shouldn't have been the one who went into the bush. And he also should not have tried to re-enter a fight with that little mana. That gave blue team a tiny gold lead. Granted, that's not throwing the game by any means, because this is low ELO. I've seen super comebacks at low ELO. And people make mistakes all the time here. But it is pretty big. You don't want to give a gold lead away. And that definitely just gave them a gold lead. They were behind. They were significantly behind. And this lane kind of looks like a case of bad Ezreal, to be honest. There's not a whole lot Soraka can do about that. But Ezreal's not lasting that well. Ashe is beating him now. Oh, and last hits in general. Ashe has good CS. Around 15 minutes, generally... Oh, geez, Skype popping up. That's not good. Around 15 minutes, you generally want to have, like, 110, 120. That's good. Perfect CS is 100 at 10 minutes, and that's ideal. You want to have perfect CS. But it's not really possible, so around 15 minutes is when you want to be hitting, like, 110. And that's pretty good CS. 120 at 15 is pretty damn good. She's doing pretty well. Ezreal's kind of on average. The rest of the game, fallen pretty far behind. Fiora especially. She's been laning in a solo lane and only has 45 CS, so she's pretty weak right now. But I figure I should remark on that, because a lot of people don't know what good CS is or what they should be aiming for. 110 by 15 minutes is perfectly acceptable. The only reason it's not that great for Ezreal is because he's falling behind Ashe. Let's see vision. You really do want more vision than this. Jax should be warding... Nah, Jax has an okay ward. Generally, your jungler should be doing some more aggressive wards, though. Both junglers. If I were to give them advice in this game, I'd say that they should be moving it. Like, whenever they counter jungle, they need to be leaving wards as they leave. Swain should probably ward here. And this will be Mal's death. Oh no, it won't! Because of Skarner. And that is incredibly disappointing, but Mal's would have died if Skarner wasn't there. And that's not really a case of... Or it was a case of vision. But oh well. Blue team's gonna be really far ahead at this point. Double ward. Is one of these about to die? Oh, you can't check. Yeah, one of them's getting close, but again, this is not a great ward spot. Stop warding there, especially if you're already warded here. There's no reason to ward here anymore. Like, thinking about it objectively, what is that ward doing now? Like, you already have a ward here. What is this ward doing? Are you warding to anticipate?
Been destroyed.
I guess the ward's meant to stop a tri-bush, like, coming around, but again, there's better places for that. This would be a better ward up here. And you could cover the same thing you have covered right now. And that was just Mundo was too deep. If you want to know what the mistake was there, Mundo went way too deep, and that's Mundo's fault. However, if you place the ward like right here, you'd be covering both these spots. There's no reason to have a ward here. The only reason you would put a ward here, it's situational, and there's one good reason to put a ward here. And that's if they pink out here. If they have a pink like out here and you can't ward over here, putting a ward in that bush is your best option. But otherwise, stay away from that bush. Just put it out here, man. It's a way better ward spot. Fiora's still rather weak, though. As much as this game looks like it's taking a huge turn, they only have a 1k gold lead. That's not too much, and Fiora is really weak. I'd argue that now that Sona has oracles, it might be a good idea to be warding that bush, because generally, when the enemy team has oracles, you still want to ward. You don't want to just stop placing wards, but you want to ward in bushes so that they actually have to go in the bush to hit it. So that's not a really bad spot anymore, but Sona didn't have oracles before. He's still doing it. Oh, yeah. But anyway, mid lost horribly. Like, for purple team, their mid lost really bad. Swain got killed on a couple occasions from ganks, and he's currently 50 CS behind, and that's really not good. 50 CS is a lot of money. It's 2.5 kills. That's how much money just in CS that Malzahar has over the Swain. So all in all, he actually has 4.5 kills in money over. This Mundo has a really bad. He's making a really bad mistake in ganking. That never move was really bad. He should place it further back. Or on top of himself, not in front of himself. But yeah, Mundo's been making a lot of mistakes at bottom. Like, what? He comes around this way and he just gets counter-ganked and dies. Every time he has come bottom, that has been happening. So largely, like if that happens to you a couple times, you should probably stop going bottom. It's probably not a good idea at that point. Or at least stop being that aggressive bottom. Try ganking from a different angle. Don't try to gank from, like, next to their tower. Which is what he's tried to do every time. Just ganking from that direction won't work. If you're ganking this deep, especially if Ezreal's not committing with you, because this Ezreal hasn't committed to any of these fights. And if he's not committing, you should not be standing over here. Ever. Especially on a team like Skarner, Malzahar, Ashe, who all have really good initiates, really good ganking power. Why so many pink wards? Okay, this is a case of buy in oracles. Why did you buy 3 pink wards and not buy in oracles? About the same amount of money, and it would do the same thing. Sure, you get... Oh, they know this. And Swain made a mistake there. Yep, got picked. And Jax is gonna get picked now. Again, Swain knows how powerful they are, and they had a ward to see just how many people were there. He should not have moved forward. He should have gotten that never move and backed out as soon as he saw there were 4 people. Jax should never have gone in. Overall, just really bad plays right now, causing this loss. Like this, it's also good to note, this isn't a case of ELO hell for... Oh, they surrendered. It wasn't really a case of ELO hell for either team. For anyone on the purple team, Jax made mistakes too, like that one where he just went in there. You can't do that. You know how many people they have. You know how much stronger they are than you. Why are you moving forward? Like, those kind of mistakes, those will lose you games.